boy, oh boy, it doesn't look good for Guts. It really doesn't. I'm genuinely concerned. We find ourselves now at the beach. After I think a few days of walking around, heading to Elfland. The only one who's really enjoying himself is Shyster Boy. He's never seen the ocean, poor guy. And so he's playing in the water, yelling and screaming. He's being a little kid. In fact, still being a Shyster Boy, I'm sure he's dragging a giant magnet behind himself, seeing what he can pick up in the sand of valuables.
Please.
Because he is a Shyster.
He totally would do that, too.
He would totally do that. Probably going to drag a screen behind him, too, in case there's any wedding rings or anything like that that aren't magnets.
Who told you that?
So there's great concern going on, though, with Mon Cherie having to do with Guts.
And Guts is trying to play it cool.
He's always playing it cool, and he can afford to play it cool because he's just tough as nails. Maybe he's even tougher than Skullboy was at the same time when he was wearing this, because I'm convinced he was. He's trying to say to Mon Cherie, don't worry about it. This is gonna be fine. Forget about it. Forget about it. And she's like, oh my gosh, he doesn't know just how deep he's getting into this thing. Because when she convinces him to take off the armor for a time, maybe at nighttime when they can finally rest, she's saying to him, yes, your wounds are healing, but they're not healing. She's trying to be encouraging, but all her magic cannot counteract the negative effects of this armor.
Not even Puck's and Elvira's.
I know, they're hitting him with the poo-poo dust, and it's not doing it. He's getting along only because of his really kind of superhuman anatomy and physiology and willpower, yes. But boy, oh boy, it doesn't look good for Guts. It really doesn't. I'm genuinely concerned. Now, there's something else going on that we discover too. Farnese is kind of in the background lately. We know that she's not the burning wannabe apostle of the church that she once was. She's gotten rid of that, and she's looked at Mon Cherie and all that Mon Cherie has been able to do, and she says, I'd like to be able to help. After all, she doesn't really want to spoon feed Casca for the rest of Casca's life, or clean her up after she's been playing with leaves, you know, I always go back to that. She wants more out of life too. And she has her sword, which she thinks is a pretty magical sword, but it's not even a sword, it's more like a big dagger. She wants more out of life, and where does she go for that? Well, there's only one other woman she can really talk to, a very young girl, and that's Mon Cherie. She wants what Mon Cherie has, which is magical powers. And I don't think it's because she's some kind of megalomaniac. She wants to contribute. For what it's worth, she still knows who she was, and that she was a powerful woman, even though the men who were under her control
didn't
respect her that much. I think she'd like to earn some respect, and she'd like to know some magic. There's kind of a give and take going on. Mon Cherie is saying, I'm in no position to teach anyone, and had some great points to make, and it really is true. An adult's belief systems are counter to the supernatural because they've lived in the natural world so long. It's going to be hard, Mon Cherie says, for you to take on the life of a good witch because all your belief systems are going to be contrary to it.
She is a unique case though, because pretty much her entire belief system has been dismantled, so she's kind of a blank canvas right
She
now.
is a blank canvas, that's
Mon
for
Cherie
sure.
did say something like that.
Yeah, and she was able to observe everything that Mon Cherie did. But I would bring you back to ancient Israel when they were in the wilderness. I mean, they saw the Red Sea parted, defeat of their enemies. Moses, an incredible fellow. Oh, this water is bitter. Oh my gosh, he fixes that for him. We're dying of thirst. He fixes that for him. I'm tired of eating this manna. He fixes that for him. And at the same time, they fall away.
Yep.
So it's easy not to believe. It's our natural state is to be skeptical, and we see it in the Old Testament throughout their wandering in the desert and even after. So certainly it's going to be here.
Yeah.
And Farnese has it pretty bad. She'll make a great witch because Little Good Witch is already good big witch. She's small in stature, but great in power.
I think it will help Mon Cherie to trust herself more, to believe in herself and see herself the way that Guts sees her and the others
Yeah.
see her, where it's like, you are already very capable, start believing it. And I feel like this will force her into a position where she has to believe in herself, because now she's the teacher.
Well, and the only way really to graduate from student is to finally teach someone else.
Yep.
That's when you really learn something. So she's now stepped into that role by saying, yes, I'll do whatever I can to help you out. So that's a pretty big deal. There's some talk also about getting to Elfland, but they didn't get that much into it. And as all of you know, I'm excited to get to Elfland, probably because of my familiarity with Lord of the
Tolkien?
Rings. Yeah, with everything of Tolkien. And so I'm excited to get there and see what they can offer too, because, and I think we touched on this in a previous video, but we're speculating that there are 3 groups, and one group doesn't even know they're one of the groups, and that's the Band of the Black Swordsmen. And yeah, there's not very many of them, and one is practically an invalid mentally, Casca. But if she ever comes to herself, wow, what an asset she's going to be.
Forced to be reckoned with.
Yes, indeed. In fact, I wonder, you know Sir Lancelot?
Yeah.
He's a heck of a swordsman. We know that.
Yeah.
And he's a good man. But
He's smart like Jude too.
yes,
He's
he is.
tactical.
Yes, he is. But could you imagine Casca? She would defeat him if it was the original Casca
Yeah.
in a sword fight. So could you, this is going to really help Guts.
Yeah.
But they need, I would say, another 500 men to
Well,
help.
I feel like if Shyster Boy can pick up the pace and start
Yes.
becoming a swordsman like Guts,
Yeah.
or honing in on his skills that he already has, the Hobbit skills of like, I throw rocks
Yeah.
and I'm darn good at it.
Yeah.
I can use this to my advantage. If he picks some sort of trade and actually believes in himself and starts working
Yeah.
towards it, I think that he'll be an asset. I think that Farnese and Moncherie as like powerful witches would be great. It would be like Freerin and Fern,
Yeah.
you know,
They were
incredible
awesome.
mages. And then you have your other 2 swordsmen that are very tactical, which would be Casca and Sir Lancelot.
Yeah.
And then you have the ultimate unstoppable force that is Guts. And then you have elf magic, 2 elves, elf magic.
And maybe they'll pick up some more elves.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'll pick up so many elves that they're part of the band of the Black Swordsmen.
I feel like they would be a band to be reckoned with at that point. Like they would be a pretty solid force.
I mean, Guts by himself is a band to be reckoned with because he has devastated everyone who's come at him. Now, that last epic battle left him near dead. And I still say, unfortunately, he's relying on the Berserker armor.
Mm-hmm.
But it has clearly made him a match for Zod, if you ask me.
Agreed.
Yeah, who we definitely don't like.
Well, because he's one of Femto's henchmen now.
I just wanted to defeat Femto so badly.
Do you think, I'm going off topic a little,
Yeah, that's
but
all right.
I feel like Elfheim wise, I think that they're the only ones that could restore Casca in some sort of way. I feel like getting to
Yeah.
Elfheim
Yeah,
is some sort of restoration for Casca.
yeah. Because let's face it, Flora hasn't been able to do it, and Moncherie hasn't been able to do it, and they were with Casca long enough. I see little hints that maybe Casca's coming out of it,
Agreed.
but not very powerful hints.
Yeah.
Just a different expression on her face, but that's something.
I feel like she's had moments where she comes to, like it definitely feels like foreshadowing that something's gonna happen. The reason that I think it would be Elfheim is because I think that there's no other reason for them to journey there
Yeah.
unless there's something waiting behind door number 3. And I feel like what could we use? And it's Casca restored.
Yeah.
You know?
And Puck has proven all along since book 1 that he's got some magical poofy dust that helps out. What about an entire village filled with elves?
Mm-hmm.
They certainly could help.
Yeah.
And we're going to need Casca. We're going to need Casca at 110% of herself
Agreed.
to keep going. And I'm really getting off topic here, but I want those 2 people unbranded. Now, for all of you out there that have branded yourself with the Berserker brand, okay, that's fine.
Fun fact, Dad and I actually met 2 guys at this coffee shop and they both had the Berserk brand tattoo, and Dad was wearing his Femto shirt. And they were really cool. We actually took a picture with them, but it was really cool to see someone with the tattoo. And there was 2 of them that worked there at the coffee shop, and they both had the brand. So fun story. Maybe I'll try to find the photo. Nicest guys ever. We love Keens. We love them.
But we want them to lose that so that they can
Live
happily ever after.
Now, be honest. Does this book give you happily ever after vibes?
No, it does not. No.
Me either.
Not even close.
Honestly, brave to write a book with no happy ending, though.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You never know.
It's Berserk. Anything's
Berserk.
possible.
Yeah, it's Berserk. If you would be so kind to like, subscribe if you haven't already, share with a friend, and we really love to hear from you. Send those comments. Send those cards and letters. We appreciate it.
I knew you were going to say cards and letters.
Yeah, got to once in a while. Throw it out there. Goodbye.